After studying this module, you shall be able to know what is discursive psychology, learn the development of and strands of work in discursive psychology, identify the theoretical principles and common themes in discursive psychology, and evaluate the issues and debates in and future of discursive psychology. Discourse analysis is an interdisciplinary field that has evolved within linguistics, sociology, cultural studies, and psychology in different forms. Discursive psychology is the application of the principles of discourse analysis to psychological topics. In the dominant cognitivistic paradigm in psychology, individuals build mental representations of the world based on their innate mental structures. The categories and content of discourse are considered to be a reflection of how the world is perceived to be. In contrast, discursive psychology begins with discourse, theoretical and empirical. Discourse is approached, but not as the outcome of cognitive process, but as a domain of action having an identity of its own. In discursive psychology, talk and text define the nature of the world under description, including the mental states, perceptions, motivations, dispositions, thoughts, prejudices, and so on, of any persons involved, whether as actors in described events or as the products and recipients of descriptions. Both reality and mind are construed by people in language. While performing their tasks, because of this emphasis on the situated, action-oriented nature of the talk, discursive psychology favors the analysis of records of natural interaction or textual materials which are generated as part of life's activities like newspaper reports, written testimony, etc. Discursive psychology was developed out of a particular type of discourse analysis which was presented in Porter and Witherill book called Discourse and Social Psychology. This approach provided the basis for some of the initial qualitative papers in empirical journals such as the British Journal of Social Psychology and European Journal of Social Psychology. Porter and Witherill book outline an alternative methodological approach that could be used in place of the experiments and questionnaires. It based itself on the conversation analytic work in everyday and institutional settings. It also built on post-structuralist ideas from, for example, the Foucaultian tradition of Henriques, Holloway, Irvin, Venn, and Walterdine. Thinking from Barthes, Derrida, Wittgenstein, as well as the important philosophical respectification of psychology developed by Harry. Finally, it owed a major depth to the sociology of scientific knowledge, in particular Gilbreth and Mulcahy, However, there are two main differences from that of the work of Porter and Witherill. First, a major focus of Porter and Witherill was on the identification of the structured discursive resources, while ethnomethodologists have focused on the role of membership categories. Rhetoricians, and particularly Billing, have focused on rhetorical commonplaces. One of the central themes developed in discursive psychology was the close inferential relationships between versions of the reality and mind. People construct versions of both of these things in their talk and their texts in action. Recent developments within discursive psychology have drawn more extensively on conversation analytic principles. Research on evaluation in discursive psychology reflects this emphasis, bringing to the fore the action orientation and sequential organization of evaluative expressions, such as the use of different types of food evaluation to justify or account for particular courses of action. Simply, there are three main strands of work in the past 20 years related to the discursive psychology. Number one, interviews and repertoires. From the mid-1980s, the focus of discourse analytic work in psychology was on identifying the different interpretive repertoires that are used to build social action. An interpretive repertoire involves a cluster of terms, categories, and idioms that are closely related conceptually. Linked repertoires are assembled around a metaphor or image in most cases. Interpretive repertoire are identified by analyzing a set of open-ended interviews. The repertoire's ideas is derived from Gilbreth and Mulcahy study of the different repertoires that scientists use to construct their social world when they are writing research papers and arguing with one another. It was further developed by Witherill and Porter in 1992. This trend of work was closely linked in and influenced by Michael Billing, rhetorical psychology, and involved the central notion of ideological dilemmas, which builds on the notion of interpretive repertoires from Porter and Witherill. Number two, discursive psychology and constructionism. A distinctive feature of this new strand of work was its focus on records of naturalistic interaction such as conversations, legal arguments, newspapers reports, interviews, rather than on open-ended interviews. Its focus was on the role that descriptions of the world and of psychological states play in the creation of the particular actions, whereas the earlier strand of work was developed under the title discourse analysis and subsequently became described as discursive psychology. This trend of work for the first time used the explicit title discursive psychology. Discursive psychology hence moved to a more explicit style of discursive constructionism, which focused on text and talk. It involves ideas from mainstream cognitive psychological work, particularly through studies on memory, descripts, emotion, attribution, and perception in terms of interaction. Third, discursive psychology and sequential analysis. From around the middle of the 1990s, these two strands of discursive psychology started to be combined by a third strand. This strand reflects a deeper engagement with conversation analysis. Many times, these two fields blur together. There is a convergence of issues in conversation analysis and discursive psychology, since they both focus on how shared knowledge is displayed and how intersubjectivity is established. This strand of work provides an approach to how categories are conversationally and sequentially occasioned. This strand of discursive psychology is still engaged in a debate with cognitivism and its problems in different arenas. There is also a growing concern about how psychological matters are a part of the institutional practices like therapy, counseling, meditation, gender reassignments, assignment, peer evaluation, etc. Discursive psychology takes discourse to be central to everyday life. Most social activity involves or is directly conducted through discourse. Furthermore, even where activity is non-verbal, its sense is often best understood through the discourse of participants. Theoretical principles of discursive psychology. Discursive psychology builds from three core observations about the nature of discourse. Number one, discourse is action oriented. Discourse is primarily medium for action. Actions may be relatively discrete objects associated with speech, act, verbs, jet. They can also be complex and embedded within institutional practices. Without a clear speech act, verb, actions are often done indirectly by description, discourse performs actions or practices of various kinds. Action involves the vast range of practical, theoretical, and interpersonal tasks that people perform in their lives. It is central to people's life and therefore central to understanding of life. Like conversation analysis, discursive psychology uses the notion of action orientation to emphasize that actions are being done even in factual, descriptive discourse and distance itself from a speech act approach. The corollary of discursive psychology focus on discourse as action in its re-specification of cognition. Number 2. Discourse is situated. It is a central observation of discursive psychology that actions are situated in three senses. First, action is situated sequentially, that is, actions are situated within the here and now of unfolding conversation. They are located in time, orienting to the past and building an environment for the future. Second, action is situated institutionally, and they often involve collections of local interactional goals that all parties orient to. Analysis, therefore, takes into account the sequentially occasioned, situationally oriented, and rhetorically designed nature of discourse. Discursive psychology's main focus is on how psychological matters are introduced, defined, and made relevant to the business of those settings. Discourse is situated in the sense within a specific sequential environment. Words are understood according to what precedes and follows them. This is similar to the conversation analytic notion that talk is occasioned. It is situated within a particular institutional setting, such as school, classroom, or family mealtime. Action is situated rhetorically. A major theme in discursive psychology is the way epistemic issues are managed using a wide range of conversational and rhetorical recourses. This theme cuts right across the conversation psychological topics of memory, attribution, attitudes, and perception. Discursive psychology considers discourse to be pervasively rhetorical. Claims and descriptions offered in talk are often designed to counter potential alternative versions and to resist attempts, whether actual or potential, to disqualify them as false, partial, or interested. Number 3. Discourse is both constructed and constructive. Discourse is constructed from a range of resources, grammatical structures, words, categories, repertoires, conversational practices, and so on. These are used in many ways to present particular version of the world. Discourse is constructive in the sense that it is used to build versions of psychological words, of social organizations, action, and of histories. Such versions are an integral part of different actions. Discursive psychology is constructionist in two senses. First, it studies the way discourse itself is constructed. Words, metaphors, idioms, rhetorical devices, descriptions, accounts, stories, and so on are drawn on and built in the course of interactions and in the performance of particular actions. Secondly, it studies for the ways discourse constructs versions of the world. In discursive psychology, then, discourse is both constructed and constructive. Discursive psychology focuses on what people are doing and how, in the course of their discourse practices, they produce versions of external reality and of psychological states. These principles have most clearly been developed in representing reality and discourse and cognition. In the former text, Porter develops a systematic account of the way versions are built as objective descriptions of actions or events. This addresses the question of how speakers create the credibility of versions and how this can be challenged. People construct versions of the world that have implications for their own dispositions and thoughts, and they construct versions of these psychological phenomena to have implications for actions and events in the world. This practical distinction between subjective and objective notions is further developed in Edward's work. Discursive psychology is developed. The constructionist approach to emotion in a more specifically analytic and interactional direction. Common themes in discursive psychology. Some themes are common across much discursive research. Individually or together, they contribute to establishing the adequacy of particular analysis. Number one, participants' orientation. One of the biggest virtues of working with open-ended, naturally occurring material is that they provide a major resource in validating findings. That resources is the turn-by-turn nature of interaction. Any turn of talk is oriented to that, to what come before, and set up an environment for what comes next. Number two, deviant cases. Deviant cases are often analytically and theoretically informative. They can show whether a generalization is robust or breaks down. Number three, coherence. The accumulation of findings from different studies allows new studies to be assessed for their coherence with what comes before. Reader's evaluation. One of the most fundamental features of discursive psychology is that its claims are accountable to the detail of the empirical materials and that readers can make their own checks and judgments. The future of discursive psychology. Psychology had developed as a hypothetico-deductive science that has conceptualized the world in terms of the effects and interactions of variables on one another that can be assessed using experiments and analyzed using multivariate statistics. This has been combined with a cognitivist explanation where the causes of human actions are seen to lie within individuals. Even though it has been a successful approach, yet this has had many unintended consequences. First, the search for general relationships underlying behavior moves research away from that the specific of human actions. Action is restricted or transformed into a form that is amenable to multivariate analysis. Little attention has been paid to the rich local and institutional settings in which human activity takes place. Third, the hypothetico-deductive approach has led researchers away from careful descriptive studies in favor of studies that start with some kind of relationship to be tested. Discursive psychology is a young approach that has much of its potential in front of it. The following are just some areas of new development in discursive psychology work. Number one, inspired by path-breaking conversation analytic work, discursive psychology has been developing studies of social research methods in practice. 2. Discursive psychology has been focused on materials collected from institutional settings. This has provided a rich arena for addressing the way particular psychological terms and orientation have institutional roles in particular settings. 3. Revising cognitivism and subjectivity. Work is already well underway in terms of re-specifying cognitive categories and concepts. This has implications for both mainstream cognitive and social cognitive psychology and for newer critical approach to subjectivity. Some discourse work has reworked psychodynamic concepts. Other work has focused on the management of subject-object or mind-world relationship, a central theme since the start of discursive psychology.
Discursive psychology was developed out of a particular type of discourse analysis which was presented in Porter and Wetherell's book, Discourse and Social Psychology. This book outlined an alternative methodological approach that could be used in place of experiments and questionnaires. It drew on conversation analytic work on both everyday and institutional settings. It also built on some post-structuralist ideas. Finally, it owed a major debt to the sociology of scientific knowledge, in particular Gilbert and Mulcahy. Discursive psychology is distinct from the earlier tradition of discourse analysis since it almost completely abandons open-ended interviews as a research method. One of the central themes developed in discursive psychology was the close inferential relationship between versions of reality and mind. Recent developments within discursive psychology have drawn more extensively on conversation analytic principles. Simply, there are three main strands of work in the past 20 years related to discursive psychology: interviews and repertoires. From the mid 1980s, the focus of discourse analytic work in psychology was on identifying the different interpretative repertoires that are used to build social action. Discursive psychology and constructionism. A distinctive feature of this new strand of work was its focus on records of naturalistic interaction, such as conversations, legal argument, newspaper reports, and interviews rather than on open-ended interviews. From around the middle of the 1990s, these two strands of discursive psychology started to be combined by a third strand. This strand reflects a deeper engagement with conversation analysis. Discourse is action oriented. Discourse performs actions or practices of various kinds. Action invokes the vast range of practical, technical, and interpersonal tasks that people perform in their lives. It is central to people's lives and therefore central to the understanding of life like conversation analysis. Discourse is situated. It is a central observation of discursive psychology that actions are situated in three senses. Analysis takes into account the sequentially occasioned, situationally oriented, and rhetorically designed nature of discourse. Next principle is that discourse is constructed from a range of resources: grammatical structures, words, categories, repertoires, conversational practices, and so on. These are used in many ways to present particular versions of the world. Discourse is constructive in the sense that it is used to build versions of psychological worlds, of social organizations, action, and of histories. Such versions are an integral part of different actions. Some themes are common across much discursive research. The first is participants' orientation. One of the biggest virtues of working with open-ended, naturally occurring materials is that they provide a major resource in validating findings. The second are deviant cases, which are often analytically and theoretically informative. They can show whether a generalization is robust or breaks down. The third is that the accumulation of findings from different studies allows new studies to be assessed for their coherence with what comes before. And the last is reader's evaluation. One of the most fundamental features of discursive psychology is that readers can make their own checks and judgments. There are three main issues and debates in discursive psychology: the preference for working with naturalistic materials, the alternative to cognitivism, and the respecification of embodied practices. These are some of the methodological features of discursive psychology. Discursive psychology is a young approach that has much of its potential in front of it. Some areas of new development in discursive psychology work are that it has been developing studies of social research methods in practice. It has been focused on materials collected from institutional settings and also focuses on revising cognitivism and subjectivity. Let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. Discursive psychology is the application of the principles of discourse analysis to psychological topics. Discursive psychology was developed out of a particular type of discourse analysis which was presented in Porter and Wetherell's book, Discourse and Social Psychology. Finally, it owed a major debt to the sociology of scientific knowledge, in particular Gilbert and Mulcahy. Simply, there are three main strands of work in the past 20 years related to discursive psychology: interviews and repertoires, discursive psychology and constructionism, and discursive psychology and sequential analysis. There are three main theoretical principles of discursive psychology: it is situated, it is action oriented, and it is constructed and constructive. There are three main issues and debates: the preference for working with naturalistic materials, the alternative to cognitivism, and the respecification of embodied practices. Discursive psychology is a young approach and hence has many challenges in front of itself.